can catch up. Richmond's morning news, we're here with you. 6 a.m., let's start it up.
All right, 6:04 this morning here on Richmond's Morning News. I made it running down the hallway, but we're ready to go with this morning's edition of Richmond's Morning News. It is Tuesday, July 7th, the year of our Lord 2026. Thank you so much for joining me. Coming up today on the program, I'm going to give away a really cool prize. We're going to give you an opportunity to go over this weekend to a South Pacific luau and hangar dance at the Military Aviation Museum. So make sure you stick around. We'll give those tickets away in the 7 o'clock hour. My family and I are going to go over. Really excited. Got my Aloha shirt on. My son said, I'm wearing my Aloha shirt. We're going to go hang out and see something really neat this weekend. We'll tell you about that coming up on the program. Super Dave Ayler here is normal. You're tan, rested, and salty.
Just like any other day.
Just like we like you. Gary Hess, of course, as well. We've got a lot to delve into this morning here on Richmond's Morning News. Tom Garrett's going to join us. Member of the House of Delegates, former member of the House of Representatives, and do I have so much to talk to him about on the program. And I have a special treat. A comic extraordinaire is coming to Richmond. Her name is Leanne Morgan. If you know who she is, you know who she is. She is funny. Had a chance to sit down with her. We'll have that interview for you this morning here on News Radio WRVA. But like I said, today is Tuesday, July 7th. Some of you still on vacation. Some of you just getting back. Some of you like, how come I didn't take a vacation? Well, either way, if you're up with me this morning, we're going to get you to work on time. Let's start with Richmond's Morning News Brief, shall we? All right, story number one, Team USA, a valiant run through the World Cup. They got to the round of 16, but the round of 8 just too much as they lose last night to Belgium by the score of 4-1.
Number one.
Infield, the U.S. is hesitating. A bouncing ball picked up in the box. And that's the opening goal for Belgium. It was DeKetelaere, first to react in there in the cross. And now they are in an early hole against Belgium. There's a man lying down behind the wall. Tillman over the wall, scores! Malik Tillman! Lightning strikes twice! And the United States has tied the game! Trossard to the byline, gets across, into Ketelaere's rising up, and Belgium retake the lead. Moments later, his second goal. Oh, don't concede another. Lukaku on the loose ball, scores! Romelu Lukaku. And now they will ride momentum down to Los Angeles Friday afternoon for a showdown with Spain in the World Cup quarterfinal.
All right, so Team USA makes a valiant run through the World Cup, captures the imagination of not just the United States, but the world with their play, but they run into a Belgium team. That's a couple things to remember. Belgium, higher ranked, was, by experts, a better team than the U.S. United States. Came out flat. They just didn't have it together. They looked disoriented, just uncoordinated, just didn't have a good game. Super Dave, I've never covered soccer. I've covered just about everything else from rodeo to golf to boxing to MMA, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, just some odd sports here and there, beach roller hockey. I've done a lot of those. I've never covered soccer because I just don't understand the game. But I will say, all in all, I am wearing my Team USA gear today. Not soccer, but I am wearing red, white, and blue. I did enjoy the run. They made America proud. They brought people together, and that's what sports is supposed to be all about. So, hey, Team USA, good job. Congratulations on making it into the round of 16. All right, second big story of the morning, as Gary said. Well, Jay Jones gets another loss, this time before a 3-judge panel that was meeting. I think they were out in Charlottesville, if I'm not mistaken. Virginia has some gun laws that people are filing lawsuits against, and, he had a court decision go against him. That's our second big story of the morning.
Number two.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Virginia, where the laws are new, the courts are busy, and everybody's asking the same question. Do we still have a Second Amendment in Virginia?
Well, let's talk about this for just a moment. So there's 4 different lawsuits, that were filed immediately following the General Assembly passing this budget and these gun laws, and the governor signing off on all of them. So what has happened is Jay Jones wanted to turn all these into just one big court case. And the judges looked into it and said, yeah, no, none of these are germane to each other. By the way, he also is going to have to fight a court case against the Department of Justice that have found all of these gun laws, many of these gun laws to be unconstitutional against our Second Amendment rights. So Jones was trying to consolidate all the cases to make it easier for him to defend. The court said, no, you can't. So another loss for Jay Jones, this time before the 3-judge panel that said, nope, there's 4 lawsuits and they're all going to go separately, and you're going to have to defend each and every one of them. Again, these gun laws were written so poorly, either on purpose, so you could expand their meanings and you can use things that'll fall through the cracks, or you're just inept. Either way, these are all going to go before the judge, and they're all probably going to end up at a Supreme Court somewhere down the line. All right, that's story number 2. Story number 3. I hate to say I told you so, but the state budget was passed. One of the big things that we're fighting for were Obamacare subsidies. I told you that. A lot of people go, Ray, you have no idea what you're talking about. Well, yesterday they had a press conference, and that's exactly what it is. That is our third story of the morning.
Number 3.
Listen, it's not bragging if I'm right, but again, the budget, this is from the Richmond Times-Dispatch, new budget passed, proving its worth by extending the life to 200,000 Virginians who have either lost their health insurance coverage or are struggling to keep it. They needed help, according to the Virginia Health Benefit Exchange, an arm of the State Corporation Commission, which estimates 100,000 Virginians lost their health care coverage this year after Congress failed to extend the enhanced federal premium tax credits. The government will still provide insurance premium subsidies to eligible households, but the loss of, and this is what I told you, the loss of enhanced tax credits first provided during COVID has made health insurance less affordable to many families, including those with higher household incomes who still couldn't pay the health insurance premiums that rose 22% last year. Okay. I thought Obamacare was supposed to lower our health care costs. It didn't. I thought these subsidies were supposed to be temporary. Well, they're not. And again, it goes back to once government gives you something, you can never get it back. Once you give somebody a program, they're never going to relinquish it. Government only gets bigger, never gets smaller. Here's a perfect example. These were temporary, emergency, COVID subsidies that were going to go away once COVID was there, but once somebody gets their hands on something, they never give it back. That was one of the big fights we had over this budget, is making sure that we continued these subsidies that were supposed to be temporary, but I guess the word temporary when it comes to government programs really doesn't exist. All right, story number 4, Donald Trump on his way to NATO.
Number 4.
All right, we've been so
The Iranian government has repeatedly stated that the only safe route through the strait is one it has approved. The ship set on fire by a projectile today was transiting near the coast of Oman. State TV says the liquefied natural gas tanker came under attack after ignoring warnings. Iran suspected of attacking other ships that have sailed through that same area. Those strikes sparked retaliatory attacks by the United States. Iran then went after Gulf Arab neighbors in response. The ongoing conflict and peace process is likely to play a role as President Trump meets NATO leaders here in Ankara, Turkey. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
All right, so here's the latest. Donald Trump on his way to NATO for a summit. Wasn't sure he was going. Now he is. I don't know where the guy sleeps. He's going to Turkey. He'll be part of the NATO summit, turn around, come right back. In the midst of all of this, as we've been paying attention to our 4th of July celebration, NATO trying to decide what the future of this organization looks like. The North American Treaty Organization, which was stood up after World War II to protect Western Europe. The United States has been paying so much of the bills. The overwhelming majority of the money that is spent on NATO comes from the U.S. Donald Trump trying to rebalance that. He's done a good job of getting some of those European countries to pay more. Now he's talking about, well, okay, maybe you need to take on more responsibility since we're protecting your homeland, not the United States. They'll have more discussions on that. Meanwhile, Iran, even though we're supposed to be in a ceasefire, and they said, do not attack us during the funeral week of the Ayatollah do not do anything to bother us while we're mourning. They're firing missiles at ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. I just shake my head. We'll get to that later. All right, story number 5. I'm going to skip story number 5. I was going to tell you that you remember Mark Kelly, the senator who led that whole thing about Donald Trump and whether you should pay attention that if you're a military member, then he gives you an illegal order, you should not follow it. That same guy that was standing up patriotism, all the rest of that, there's a picture of him on July 5th wearing a Team Mexico jersey, rooting for Team Mexico down in Tucson. I'm just shaking my head over that. We'll get to that later. All right, that's your Richmond Morning News Brief this morning here on News Radio WRVA. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, my name is Rich Herrera. We thank you for making us a part of your morning. And again, either you wake up with Richmond's Morning News or you're just going to be playing catch-up the rest of the day. 6:15 right now on the News Radio WRVA clock. Quick reminder, today's program is brought to you by A-Plus Windows. A-Plus Windows, locally owned and operated. Billy Kane, he's got a simple reason why the business exists. When it comes to finding replacement windows for your house, there's a lot of people